Michigan-made, Iowa-inspired, streaming worldwide. Automotive knowledge for the deciders, the drivers, and the dreamers.
Mic check 1, 2.
AutoVision News Radio with Carl Anthony in the Motor City.
The relationship between software-defined vehicles and EVs, the evolution of new powertrain technologies, and the way AI is being leveraged to improve the consumer experience. These topics were among the core themes at SDV Social 2026, presented by Intrepid Control Systems, held on the evening of Thursday, May 14th at the Intrepid HQ in Troy, Michigan. The event featured cutting-edge tech demos, networking opportunities, and live music from Detroit rockers J2C. I had the opportunity to moderate a panel discussion that featured John McElroy, Christine Thelesklaf, and Jordan Choby, all three of whom are respected figures and leaders in the automotive industry. As we do each year at SDV Social, the panel discussion is recorded and replayed here on AutoVision News Radio. By way of introduction, John McElroy is known for his work as a journalist, lecturer, entrepreneur, and juror for the North American Car and Truck of the Year. He created Autoline Daily, the first webcast of industry news and analysis, in addition to hosting Autoline This Week, an Emmy award-winning television program featuring top automotive executives and journalists. John's work has also appeared on popular automotive websites like Autoblog, Road and Track, and Ward's Auto, alongside his appearances on ABC World News Tonight, CBS News, and NBC Nightly News. His trusted voice has also been heard on WWJ News Radio 950. Christine Thelesklaf is Vice President and Regional Business Unit Leader of Software and Controls in the Power Solutions Division of Bosch in North America. In this role, she oversees an organization with a broad portfolio of software and controls for passenger cars, commercial vehicles, and off-road applications. Christine leads a team that drives innovation across a wide range of vehicle systems, including batteries, engines, fuel cell control systems, and connected services such as battery in the cloud, digital fuel twin, C-Hub, and rideshare. In addition to being bilingual, Christine holds a master's in technical mathematics, which includes disciplines in computer science, statistics, and probability theory. And Jordan Choby is Group Vice President of Powertrain for Toyota Motor North America Research and Development. In this role, he is responsible for developing and integrating a wide range of powertrain technology into Toyota's North American vehicle lineup. Jordan's team is focused on delivering products that meet the needs of the North American customer, spanning from carbon reduction to driving enjoyment. Join me now for a replay of our panel discussion as part of SDV Social 2026, which opened with a look at the relationship between software-defined vehicles and electrified vehicles. And then to expand on that idea, are there certain features, be it in terms of efficiency or the customer experience, that would either be unlocked or enhanced by an EV that is also an SDV?
Moving at the speed of mobility, this is AutoVision News Radio with Carl Anthony in Detroit, Michigan.
I don't think SDV has to be relegated just to EVs. All of you in the room know this better than I do. I mean, the beauty of an SDV car is the software, and it can be updated. You can add features to cars after it's rolled off the assembly line. You can fix problems on the cars, possibly mitigate recalls. The other real opportunity is as the second and even third owner of that car gets involved with it, you might be able to sell them services. And that's what all the automakers are really looking at, is hoping that they can sell services, create new revenue streams. As far as applying this whole concept to an electrified vehicle, you know, the ideal would be to get more range potentially out of time, to collect data as the vehicle's being used that you can feed back into your development model. So look, I think it's only a matter of time before every vehicle out there is software defined.
While John talked about reducing recalls and new revenue streams, Christine framed the relationship between software-defined vehicles and EVs using a musical analogy.
The only thing why we bring this together is they got developed in the same time frame. So it's sometimes confusing, but honestly you can use any other system below this, apart from electrification. And the SDV is for me the brilliant one, what connects to the cloud, as you so nicely said, the data exchange. Yeah? And this brain we have to feed and we have to start to manage it. Yeah? And then we have to bring it not only down to the electrification, we have a lot of other systems currently in the world. You have hundreds of controllers in a car, and it's like a big orchestra, and every controller plays his own music. And now we have to define the SDV world on a base like this, that we are looking for a Maestro who makes the best concert hall.
Jordan expanded on Christine's concert hall imagery by examining how software-defined or connected vehicles could alleviate range and charging anxiety for consumers.
First, I love the Maestro comment from Lingo. It's a really good example of maybe what SDV is doing. For me, I think there's absolutely some synergy there. So I think EVs are quite unique because they create some unique, I'll call them opportunities. Some people might say pain points every now and then about where EV's different than a pure ICE or hybrid vehicle, right? So there's two categories for me. One is, we call it that range or charging situation or anxiety. And also that now the car can be truly part of a grid. Instead of a one-way consumption of fuel, now it potentially can be an energy grid connector. So for me, I work a lot on the powertrain team. I work a lot, at least on one of my themes is fuel economy development or EV range development. So trying to maximize that, focus on efficiency. But we're well aware of the EV range, AKA charging anxiety situation. So, if we think about how SDV can support that, from the engineering team, we can estimate range very accurately, right? It's a physics-based model, we can do that. But the point is we don't know the information that's coming into the car in that real-time situation to alleviate that frustration for the customer. So SDV, and I'll lump in connected systems with that, as we can start to connect via the cloud information about weather, road profiles, grades, things like that, we can more accurately predict range in the real time. So to me, that's the direction we're already moving, but it's just one of the examples of how we can merge EV and SDV.
After exploring the relationship between software-defined vehicles and EVs, our panelists considered the evolution of different propulsion technologies, be it electrification, hybrids, or hydrogen. And then from there, which industries will see the most impactful changes as these propulsion technologies become more advanced. John began with a perspective on why automakers are keeping their options open.
As the old saying goes, different horses for different courses. So clearly, if you have short range, frequent hops, especially the ability to charge at home, EVs make all the sense in the world. If you're towing heavy loads, driving longer distances, EVs really don't make that much sense right now. That could change in the future. And then you get into whether it's strong hybrids, plug-in hybrids, or extended range EVs. There are different powertrains for different applications. Right now, we don't know exactly how that's going to play out in the short term, and so we're seeing automakers hedge their bets. They're, in many cases, developing everything. In the heavy truck world, for example, they're developing, and I'd love to hear what Jordan has to say on this, multi-fuel capabilities out of the same engine, whether it runs on gasoline or petrol, if you want to call it, or diesel, or even hydrogen potentially. We're in a state of flux right now where automakers are going to have to place their bets on multiple powertrains.
Regardless of what's under the hood, car buyers want a vehicle that is responsive when they press the gas pedal. Now, this isn't to say that every vehicle needs a powerful twin-turbo V6 or a robust V8, but rather that consumers want something that can handle the demands of everyday driving. Christine underscored this using a scenario all of us are familiar with behind the wheel.
If you're on a highway and you accelerate and take over another car, in this moment your energy systems has a bug or something forced out and you have to go back to the combustion system, there needs to be a decision in 1 millisecond, and the software needs to be able to do it, and there is no excuse about it.
During SDV Social 2026, Toyota showcased its hydrogen fuel cell Class 8 truck for attendees. Just about a week before SDV Social, Toyota shared its hydrogen strategy during the 2026 Advanced Clean Transportation Expo, outlining new milestones and investments across commercial trucking, fueling infrastructure, and stationary power generation. Toyota plans to deploy fuel cell-powered Class 8 trucks in its commercial logistics fleets by early 2027. Intrepid's NeoVi Connect has been installed on these trucks, enabling over-the-air updates for Toyota Fleet Analytics. As Jordan explained, the idea of a software-defined vehicle extends beyond traditional cars, with applications now in the commercial space.
The one thing that I'm seeing personally right now, we did bring a vehicle here. Luckily, it made it back from Vegas. I heard today at noon, the hydrogen fuel cell Class 8 truck. Personally, I'm seeing a lot of overlap in the technology trend with SDV in the commercial space. So I'm not sure if maybe there's many people here who cover that more. Again, Toyota traditionally light duty, but in the last 5-10 years, we've been expanding our hydrogen fuel cell technology in the commercial space, be it Class 8, bus, or stationary power. And right, we're learning as well, but we know the name of the game is TCO, right? But that industry is transitioning a little behind LDV into the ZEV-related powertrain systems for those products. So I'm, again, learning quite a few things that we need to learn, either the producer or the end user. We need to build trust, but they're still not quite there yet. And we need to enable TCO. So when I think about, again, SDV and what we're trying to work on in that space, first, we're trying to make sure that remote data access is mandatory, right? So we're using that to learn, build some peace of mind, and data we all know is a valuable now building block of the future. The second one is we're starting to use that data to try and, again, build trust, be it predictive maintenance models, state of health oversight or reports on fuel cell module or battery systems. Then finally, how can we be creative with an SDV ecosystem and software kind of foundation to enable TCO improvement. So the one example, we're working on a 1 megawatt stationary power system. It's not one fuel cell module, it's multiple. So we can start to control all these different modules differently and balance energy efficiency and maybe durability of the total system with a goal finally of 1 + 1 = 3, right? How can software enable greater value for the customer? So I see the intersection of those two, especially in the commercial market right now.
When it comes to software-defined vehicle architectures, each panelist gave a perspective on how OEMs should approach this with regard to plug-in hybrids and extended-range EVs. John noted that optimization will be key regardless of the powertrain configuration.
So far, extended-range EVs are pretty much only a phenomena in China. That's going to change fairly quickly. Whether it makes a difference between EREVs and PHEVs, I'm going to have to defer to the real experts on the panel. But my thoughts are this. Just as Jordan was mentioning, how do you optimize these powertrains? How do you get more performance out of them, more range out of them, lower emissions, better efficiency? I think the same lessons that apply to a PHEV or an EREV is going to apply to the other. I mean, obviously there's different duty cycles between the ICE engines in each of those powertrains, and EREVs offer a lot of opportunity. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that on a thermodynamic efficiency basis, the highest efficiency engines right now, ICE engines, are being made in China because they're being used for EREV applications. Because you don't have to go through the same duty cycle and rev range that an engine does in a PHEV or an ICE. You can run more EGR through it. You can run a higher compression ratios. And this is how a number of companies, at least 3 in China, I think, that are claiming thermodynamic efficiency rates of 46 to 48%. Keep in mind that a Formula One engine is at about a 51% thermodynamic efficiency rating versus 48% for a mass market EREV engine. And as you guys know, in Formula One, cost is almost no object. I'm told the engines cost $10 million a piece. It's remarkable that an EREV engine can approach what a Formula One engine is able to do on a thermodynamic basis for much, much less cost. And I don't know if that totally answers your question there, Carl, but what I'm getting at is clearly there's a lot that software can play in terms of optimizing these engines beyond what they are at already.
To follow John's thought process on optimization, Christine underscored the need for suppliers and OEMs to work together in order to provide what consumers are really looking for in a vehicle.
And to be strong here, I think this is especially a question for suppliers. Yeah? We have to define together the platform where we start with. And with this central platform, so we come from 100 ECUs, where we want to scale down to 5 to 10. So we have wisely to steer where we put something. Yeah? For example, when you get an update for the brake, it must work. Yeah? And there is no discussion on it. Safety, security, efficiency, costs, and what does the consumer in the end of the day want? Honestly, they like the approach, okay, I do something for the environment, but honestly, they don't want to take care about the thought, okay, what is needed for it. Yeah? They want to drive from A to B and be safe and secure. And now, the next challenge is, especially in this part, yeah, all the security updates that came from outside. Yeah? Because we connect the car. Before we were single, now we connect it. And this is a challenge. And we as suppliers are very open to work with the OEMs together to create the perfect platform.
For those of you listening on the podcast recording of this, there was a fist bump between Christy and Jordan.
After what has become known as the SDV Social fist bump, Jordan expanded on a new software platform that underpins the 2026 RAV4, announced in the automaker's press release about the popular SUV in late October 2025. Described by Toyota as its first step toward fully software-defined vehicles, the platform will serve as the foundation for more advanced safety, security, and connectivity technologies.
Toyota, we just launched our new SDV, our first SDV-enabled or enabling e-platform architecture. It's called Arene. It's done by, woven by Toyota. It's in the 2026 RAV4, which is a hybrid and plug-in hybrid only in the first vehicle, right? But finally, that architecture, you could say, is a multi-pathway type SDV-enabled architecture. And that absolutely is our central brain of control. It's connecting ADAS systems, it's connecting infotainment, then finally the vehicle, right? There's many aspects of SDV as a whole. It's the OTA hub, and also that foundational point where we can build AI off of, either AI data gathering or feature release and enablement. So yeah, again, we really see it for all, and there's lots of opportunities.
AI is driving transformation across the automotive value chain in areas like R&D and simulation, manufacturing, supply chain, and the in-vehicle experience, according to a report from S&P Global. During SDV Social 2026, each panelist offered a perspective on how AI is being leveraged in the automotive industry.
Well, look, the automakers that I talk to and suppliers are approaching this very eagerly, but they're crossing the river by feeling the rocks with their feet. There are a lot of pilot programs going out there. They are building to enterprise-wide uses of AI. It is permeating every aspect of the business. There's a saying amongst the AI people that AI is not going to take your job away. Somebody who knows how to use AI is going to take your job away. And I thoroughly encourage everybody, and if you're not doing it already, to start playing around with it. I can tell you, I'm not doing any engineering or anything like that. I'm in the media. At work, we are using AI every single day for all different kinds of things, for research, for analysis, for suggestions, business suggestions, not just media ones. And we're seeing the same sort of thing happening in the auto industry. Every single department that I've inquired about in any automaker or supplier is dabbling with it. There are problems with AI. I'm sure you've all run into them. AI will lie to you, straight out make stuff up. It will get things wrong. I've even had it have misspellings. And when you catch it on something where you don't think a number is right, it'll say something like, yeah, you're right, I made a mistake there. It's crazy. And so some of the experts that I've talked to have suggested, if you're really into something that is highly critical, safety critical, you should be using 3 different AI systems. You might use Claude, you might use Chat, you might use Gemini, asking it to do the same thing. You're going to get different answers. In fact, sometimes if you ask your one agent to run a problem, and then when it's done, ask it to do it again, it might come up with a different answer. Having said that, though, there is some dynamite breakthroughs coming through in the industry right now. of being able to use your AI agent to go in and find answers that no human being would ever be able to come up with.
While John provided a word of caution, Christine gave an example of how an AI agent in a vehicle could potentially get you out of hot water.
In this moment, your car goes up to the cloud, checks the diagnostic, make an appointment that you have to change the water point, put it into your calendar and says, by the way, today is your anniversary. I looked for a workshop that is near to a flower shop so that you can go with your wife for dinner. And this is user experience. And honestly, this is the desire of the people what they have today. They are used to it. They are using a phone. And what they want is the same comfort with the car. The car will become a kind of family member, yeah? In the morning when you turn in, you will say, oh, you put on 2 pounds. You go now to the gym and not to the barbecue station.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So many jokes, so little time. Jordan, what's your perspective on this?
I think the AI agent concept is really where a lot of people are putting efforts in how we link that all together. I was thinking of this also in maybe engineering daily work, right? So at Toyota, maybe many people, we kind of sometimes pick these words that become like cultural themes. So at Toyota, we say we need to eliminate Muda and focus or maximize Choby. So that means eliminate waste and maximize value add, right, in our development activities. So if I think about those things, some people, might get a little worked up about this, but in the engineering world, we have to communicate. Maybe the engineers don't have to communicate, but we have to make PowerPoints, we have to summarize things. But that's technically necessary, but non-value add work. It's a necessary must. So how can we utilize AI tools like John was mentioning and streamline that? So I think a lot of people are starting there. Maybe that's the first rock in the river that everyone's working on, is eliminating those initial items. But I think the engineering world is still working our way through. I think we've done a lot of simulation, CAE, CFD, those kind of simulation activity, but how do we overlay AI onto that? As I develop fuel economy, I also develop drivability. And I do those in tandem and balance those. The amount of effort we put into develop drivability and that driving flavor, the smooth shifts, etc. We have to do it for every program. We're kind of hitting just a core segment of the customer. We're not really covering everybody. How could I start to develop a framework with an AI overlay that I could launch one car and it could adapt and morph to the customer, the second customer, the usage scene in real world, and not have to do all these different calibrations program by program. So we keep stepping that way, but I think finally SDV Systems potentially is the enabler with AI on top of it to really expand and really do value add engineering only and also add value to the customer.
John McElroy, Christine Thelesklaf, Jordan Choby. Let's give them a round of applause.
See the links in the show notes to learn more about software-defined cars, AI in the automotive industry, and the annual SDV Social event. AutoVision News Radio is available on all major podcast platforms. From Intrepid Control Systems in Troy, Michigan, alongside John McElroy, Christine Thelesklaf, and Jordan Choby, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.